this is something you find in London. People really avoid making eye contact, and it's so sad, especially when you're right in front of somebody on a train, a packed train, and you're looking every other direction so that you don't make eye contact. And even on the streets, it's quite sad that you might be going past a neighbor and you can't make eye contact. So you might say, what's the big deal? um, let me give a little bit of a summary here. Not doing good things makes your conscience hate you, right? So it all begins with doing good things, right? And if you don't do good things, we talked about this a little bit before, your conscience is always there to judge you. You can't avoid it. And it will hate you for not being a good person. It's an amazing little, it's a very mysterious little thing, this conscience. But anyway, it's mysterious that it knows what's right and wrong and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so when you don't have, when your conscience is hating on you, that's going to knock your confidence. And therefore, if you're not confident, you're naturally going to struggle with making eye contact with people at all. Do you, you know, you don't feel good about yourself and you don't want people to notice you, and therefore you won't make eye contact, basically. And so society also, the double problem is society is sick, as I mentioned before, with individualism. I would say individualism is a sickness, right? Okay. Because it keeps you separate from other people, that way of thinking. So people think they're happier being strangers when they're not. So individualism in society makes you feel that the philosophy of life is to get stuff. That's all it is. Life is about getting stuff, and you can be quite happy being by yourself. And that's completely wrong. It's the opposite of what makes people happy. So once you buy into that idea, then when you ignore a person, you don't make eye contact with the person you're going past, you think, it doesn't matter, right? Because your level of perception has been dumbed down by materialism. You've been told, you've been advertised to your whole life that if you get this thing, you'll be happy. And you've totally ignored, because you've been focused on all the silly things that people have been advertising in front of your face. You've totally forgotten the thing that really makes you happy, all the subtle small thing, which is somebody just smiles at you. You won't believe it, but first of all, that's part of psychology. Yeah, smiling, just smiling, a fake smile even makes you happy. But if you smile at somebody else and make them feel good, you feel good about that as well. But that's a whole different. You can actually transfer smiles to people. Like if I smile at you, then you naturally will mimic it. It's just how human beings work. For whatever reason, they mimic it, and then when you copy that smile, you feel good because smiling itself, that facial expression actually makes you happy. Anyway, that's a bit of a side thing. So the reason, in short, why you can't make eye contact is because you don't like yourself. You don't like yourself often because you're being selfish. You're not trying to make the world a better place enough, uh, within your capacity. You might be doing a few good things here and there, but you definitely, if you're capable of doing loads more and you're not meeting anywhere near that capability, like you're giving 1p when you got £1 million, then you're not really going to appreciate yourself. Like, you give 1p when you got £1 million, how can you possibly feel good about that, right? And in a similar way, in a more subtle way, like if you could be good to people and you only spend like 1% of your time being good to people, then you're just not going to like yourself. Yeah. And think about, if you start, you do have some sort of people, even if they don't admit it, they have some sort of reflection on their lives. So what are we doing with our lives? And if it's not about making a difference, you won't really think it's much good, your life, right? All the excitement and all the interesting stuff happens when you're trying to make the world a better place. Okay. And in a really small way, just like I said, very few people will watch my videos, but the few people who watch it hopefully benefit somewhat, right? So And of course, the bad side of not doing good things is you really feel bad about yourself. Like you can't even make eye contact with people, and that's common problem in London. People really struggle with making eye contact, and then you feel like a stranger to everybody, and that is an incredibly lonely feeling, which is causing, you know, the most of the illnesses in society. Loneliness is, as I said, the biggest killer in Western society. And it's largely down to or to a philosophy that we've accepted because maybe because it's a bit easier, and that is called individualism. Like I could be happy by myself. Yeah, this is very common in even New Age. I think a lot of New Age um, spirituality is blame can be blamed to that. Blamed for that because they don't talk about doing things for other people. They say happiness is just, you know, making yourself happy. And the best advice people give, okay, in this kind of new age Hinduism, supposed Hinduism, and supposed Buddhism, okay, because it's not the real Buddhism. Like, for example, a monk told me that um, people don't seem to realize monk or Buddhists believe in God, but most people would not, most Western Buddhists wouldn't believe in this kind of New Age Buddhism if they realized they had to believe in God as well, right? So that's what I mean by saying that is not real Buddhism that most Westerners follow. And but what you hear from either this kind of offshoot of Buddhism or whatever you want to call it, from these famous people who I can't remember their names. Yeah, I can't remember. And they just talk about living in the now. Like, what does that mean? It just means like ignoring the past, which includes ignoring your mistakes, okay? The bad things you've done to other people that you won't forgive yourself with unless you do something to make up for it. You just won't, your conscience won't let go of it, right? So it's like, oh, just focus on the now. So what focusing on the now means not thinking about your responsibilities. It just means like taking care of yourself. That's what it really boils down to. If you look through all the advice about focusing on the now, is all about yourself. Okay, and that's basically the reason why those kind of things are really popular. Those particular self-help books are really popular is because they're selfish, and society is already selfish. But the good news is I like that things people like Jordan Peterson are becoming popular because people realize just being selfish doesn't make you happy. Taking responsibility, serving other people, doing good things, that's what makes you happy. And so, although I don't 100% agree with Jordan Peterson and everything, he says some strange things about, he believes that, you know, Adam and Eve are the first people on earth and all sorts of weird things, right? And for example, Jesus Christ should have. Um, what did he believe that he should atone or he should be punished for everybody's sins? It's just a weird idea, right? Okay, but when he sticks to psychology and the facts and logic, yeah, I think, well, yeah, there's so much to be benefited from it, and I certainly learned from that as well.